Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am discussing the Xbox Series X and Microsoft's recent announcement about it and how it's going to be not having any Microsoft exclusives for the first 2 years. I get where they're coming from. I get it. I get the logic. And the logic is that they don't want to leave all of the Xbox One users in the dust. And that's nice. That's fine. But you're also shooting yourselves in the foot, because the thing that drives console sales is the fact that they have games on them that are pushing you to buy it, especially if the price on this thing is going to be around $500, $600 with all the different specs I've seen. That's probably what it's going to be. You need a reason for people to move over to the next system. Sony blatantly said, we want as many people to move over to the PlayStation 5 as quickly as possible. We don't want people staying on the PlayStation 4. That's why it's backwards compatible. That's why they're putting it at that same price point as this generation was when it first came out. That's why they're aggressively trying to move people over to the next system. And that is why PlayStation consistently sells the most systems. They really do. If you look at the top 10 most selling consoles of all time, or best selling consoles of all time, you're going to see lots of PlayStation systems because they know what they're doing. Somehow Sony knows what they're doing with consoles more than any other division of their company, I gotta say. And it's weird to me that Microsoft, who has been in this game for a while now, is not doing this. They are, again, making some of the same mistakes they made with the Xbox One. They're making a more expensive system than PlayStation, and they're not putting enough games on it that sell the system. Again, it's great that they're being consumer friendly and they're having cross-gen games, but they're also screwing over the early adopters. They're screwing over the people that are buying the Series X, because if you look at all these different cross-generational games, they will never be as beautiful as a game developed specifically for the Series X. Now, I don't know if they're going to be developing games specifically for the Series X and then downgrading them for the Xbox One. Maybe that could be a way around the issue that I'm talking about here. But overall, this is not going to move their audience to the next generation. And my reasoning that they should 100% start making Xbox One X only games is because they're backwards compatible. The Xbox Series X, not the games, are backwards compatible. So when you've got a system that can play all of the Xbox One games, why not push people to get this new system? Because you're not screwing over the people with the Xbox One, because once they get that new system, they can still play all their games. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of different articles, are people saying, oh, players are tired of canning their old system and then having to get a new one and starting over. But that's not what's happening in this next generation. Thank God. It's like the first generation and ever, really, where the two big consoles, the Xbox and the PlayStation, are going to be completely backwards compatible to their previous console counterpart. And you can say the PS3 did as well, but it barely did. Like, I can barely even find those consoles out in the wild. Barely anybody had them. They're too expensive. Now we're going to a new generation that is going to be completely backwards compatible, and it's going to be at a usual price point, and it's going to be the standard console. It's the standard for these next systems, and that's great. That right there is already phenomenal and consumer friendly. So we don't need this cross-generational gaming. I'm telling you, we need Xbox to move on and sink the time in to make these games really work on the most powerful console. If they're gonna keep touting this system as the most powerful console, then they need to make the games take advantage of that. And they can't be working on games that take advantage of that if they're trying to make them also work on the Xbox One. They're going to be games that are going to look subpar compared to the third-party games, because this announcement does not mean they're forcing third-party developers to develop games for the Xbox One and Series X. There will be third-party developers that are making games exclusively for the Series X, but you bet your ass that most people are going to do exactly the same thing as Microsoft, because it has a bigger installation base. They have more players on the Xbox One than there are going to be on the Series X for the first 2 years, which is why they're doing it this way. And that's another thing. It's not just being consumer friendly. It's also like they're trying to continue to make money off the people with just an Xbox One. Though I still feel like that's not what they should be doing. They should be moving to the next generation. And it's great. It's great that the Xbox One controllers work on the Xbox Series X. It's great that you can do backwards compatibility and all the 360 and all the Xbox One and all the Xbox original games will work on the Series X. But you need to give a reason to people to buy in your console. And Xbox has consistently lacked that reason because they're already putting all the games on the computer. They're already eliminating the fact that they are console exclusive, which for me is great because I would rather play these games on the PC anyway. But for Xbox, for Microsoft, as a corporation to do this, to me, does not make sense. If you are trying to sell millions of units and you're trying to beat your competition, what do? You look for every edge you can. And the edge in consoles is the exclusives, 100%. Yes, the Nintendo Switch is a great console, but because it's the exclusive on-the-go console, it's the exclusive Nintendo console with its own set of games you can only get on that system, that's why people are buying it. PlayStation has all of its exclusives. It has a bunch of studios that work on games specifically for the PlayStation. Xbox has a bunch of studios that work on games for everybody. And that is, again, great for us, great for the consumer, but doesn't make any sense for Microsoft. So overall, this news is not terrible. It's not completely surprising, but it's a little bit. I gotta say, I thought the new Halo game was going to only be on the Series X. And that would make sense. They've never done that before, or they're like, oh yeah, we're going to have Halo 3 on the Xbox original and the 360. No, they wanted people to get over to the new system. They wanted to tout this system as, look at the graphics that can be on here. Look at the reason you bought this system. Wasn't it worth it? Isn't this amazing? Instead, they're now like, well, it's on the Xbox One and the Series X, so what's the reason to upgrade? A lot of people are going to be saying that. God, I keep hitting the mic. Especially for that long. First year, I'll grant you that. First year, I'll grant you that. Second year, though, 2 years is huge. Think about how quickly the Xbox One lost this console war. It lost it in the announcement. 2 years, that's critical time to be cementing yourself as the console to buy. And that's not what they're doing. They're cementing themselves as the console that, just buy it whenever. Maybe don't. Who knows? You will, whatever. A lot of people dispute me when I say that there is no reason to own an Xbox One, as is, already. And that there's no reason to own the Xbox Series X, because you can just get a PC. And I get that some people are still afraid of building a computer, and for some reason they think it's more of a hassle to have a computer. That doesn't make sense to me because the online is free and you can use any controller on it you want, and lots of other reasons why it is actually easier, in my opinion. But if you are looking to just get a console, it's still, I don't know. Xbox is always, Xbox this generation has just seeming to be lagging behind everything. I mean, PlayStation even got the Call of Duty exclusives. That's how bad Xbox lost this console generation. And I don't know. I was hoping to see I was talking with my friend about console exclusives. And she said that console exclusives are a bad thing, period. And you know what? From a consumer standpoint, you look at it, if you're looking in the black and white, it's really bad. But if you look in the gray zone, and you can really tell that there's definitely a plus and minus to it, the fact that there are no exclusives in the Xbox and they don't seem to care about having exclusives means that they're not working as hard on their games. And if they are, I can't tell because it doesn't feel like it when I play an Xbox exclusive. And by Xbox exclusive, I again mean Xbox One and PC because they're all on the PC now. The only series I can think of that really pushes it is Forza, and even they have a lot of detractors to them. They've had loot boxes, they've had lots of microtransactions, they have a season pass, they have all these different things jam-packed in them. Then you look at the PlayStation exclusives, and there's no microtransactions to be found. And that's insane to me. That's huge. It seems like the PlayStation exclusives are just consistently higher quality. And then you get to Gears 5 and Gears 4 and Sea of Thieves, and there's just all of these games that feel like Crackdown. They just rush that shit out instead of taking the time to craft something and make sure it's perfect before it launches, and to make sure that it is again another reason to own an Xbox. If you do not own a PC, it's the reason to own an Xbox. They're not doing it. They're consistently disappointing people, and it feels like they're just relying on old franchises, sequels, and they're not creatively bankrupt. I just don't know what they're doing. And I hope this next generation we see that change. I want to see a shift in the Xbox exclusives. They own lots of different companies now, but again, those companies will not be making Xbox exclusive games. And it's so strange. It's so strange. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this whole situation. If you think Microsoft is making a huge mistake, or if you think it's actually a good thing that they're doing this. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys.